Okay, we'll try to finish up the lavim this evening, the negative commandments that somebody can transgress, possibly by speaking Lashon Hara. And so, let me just get to the page here.
He's the one that's married to the Israeli girl that took our camera and stuff.
So, sorry. Let's get to the right page here. So, last time we were talking about how if you speak in front of somebody, you could be over onus devarim, and how you could humiliate them, so he says here now, test vav. V'imhu yasam o almana. If that the person that person speaks about is either a yasam, an orphan, or almana, we might have done this one, I don't remember, or a widow, Efilohem ashirim, even if they're very wealthy, v'sipur gonusam b'fnehem, and you speak negatively about them to their face, over od al lav acher. In other words, for sure you're over the regular brand of onus devarim, but you were Makayim another mitzvah, which unfortunately was a lo saseh, a negative commandment. Who call almana v'yasam lo sanun, a almana, a widow and an orphan, you shall not afflict or offend, and so you're over that one also. She is here haTorah b'zeh shelo lahaktinan o lahachiv liban. You shouldn't either anger them or cause them any kind of pain. B'shum min sar, with like any kind of pain whatsoever. He doesn't mention this here, but the Rambam, when the Rambam mentions this avera, he says that he says lo shelo, he translates it shelo la'anos la'alim, to not hurt anybody who is in a who's vulnerable. So the Rambam says really that a yasam or an orphan or a widow is really a paradigm for anybody who's in a situation that they're vulnerable. And I don't know why that wouldn't apply here as well, but the Chafetz Chaim says it here that the person who does this is over another law. Ansho mufurash b'Torah, and the punishment for this law is clear and open in the Torah. V'chara api v'harakti eschem. Very strong words. My anger will flare against you, and I will kill you. Tes vav. Next lav. Ulifamim over odal iser chanufa. Sometimes a person will also be over on the iser of chanufa, flattery. Shehu harbe gaonim lav gomer. That according to many of the gaonim, that's a complete full transgression on its own. Behu lav de lo sachanifu es haaretz. That you're over. Do not, like it seemingly says, to flatter the land. I think what it seems to mean, according to the explanations, is that if the people are involved in flattery, they'll ultimately leave the land. Kugon im miskabein v'sipuro halashon hara v'rechilas kedei lahachanif lishmoa. For example, how do you break flattery by speaking Lashon Hara? Well, so he says here is, if your intent when you say over your Lashon Hara or your rechilas is in order to flatter the listener, shu yodea sheyesh lo al oso poloni sina mikvar. Right, let's say that you know that this very important person hates somebody else. So in order to warm up to them, you trash the person that you know they hate. And by doing so, you will find favor in that person's eyes. Who oven plili, he says this is a horrible avera. Ki Um, it's not good enough that you're not fulfilling the mitzvahs aseh to give rebuke or reproof to this person for shu mitzvahs aseh deraisa. That's a commandment from the Torah. Lachicho alasina asher beino vein chavero. So instead of doing the positive commandment of telling this person that really it's not right to hate Poloni, not only that, you're throwing wood on the fire. Aval gam yachazik b'sipurav es hasina. You're strengthening the hatred. Asher b'nei mikvar that already existed. Val yodo yishna ivlalto yoser. You make the sin even greater and greater, and the hatred greater and greater. V'yavale mizeh machlokus chadash of avon v'od kama kilkulim. And you'll create a whole new machlokus. You'll restart up a simmering machlokus, a simmering argument. Hashem yishmarenu. Hashem should protect us, should guard us. V'da, and no. The avon zemi avonosenu harabim matzui harbe ma'od. He says you should know that this that I'm referring to, this sin, is actually very commonplace. In our many sins, this is very commonplace among us. That when somebody speaks in the to the detriment of another person, even though he recognizes that what this person said is not in consonance with halacha, the person shakes his head in agreement, seems to agree. Sorry, somebody just called me. He shakes his head. And he even sort of sweetens the whole discussion. So Mosif Ezet Tevos Lefgam, that he adds a few words to the negative. Somebody keeps calling me about the person. He throws in a few words of his own. Because perhaps the speaker is a chashav of Baal Bayis, an important person in the community. So, he either throws in a few words adding to it, or else shakes his head in agreement because he doesn't want to show this person who's perhaps just wealthy or has a lot of power that he doesn't agree with them. He joins in. Perhaps he got good from this person, or is getting good from this person. Or he fears that this person will look at him as somebody who's not very smart. He's one of these people that has to, I don't know, always, be on the good side or something. And therefore the Yetzer is able to steer him, turn him, because of this feeling of pressure that he has to agree with this person in order to agree with his words. But no, my brother, says the Chafetz Chaim, Shezehu be'etzem lav dechanufa. This is the lav, the negative commandment of chanufa, of
flattery.
Flattery. Thank you. If Elim Rak Yosef Ezatevos, even if you add a couple words, Kasher Misbarba Bir Mayim Chaim, like I explained below in the Bir Mayim Chaim, in the parish below. Inyan Kazeh Shaykh Mashanemar, and on this Inyan, it's Shaykh, what's it said in Mishlei, perhaps Tendler or somebody can explain what this means to me. Besamta Sachin Bilaod Balo Echa Imbal Nefesh Ata. I haven't looked up the pirush of the words. I saw the translation. I placed a knife at the neck of a person who has an appetite. That's how it was translated. Does anyone know? I don't know what that Inyan is that he's referring to here. I'll try to look it up before we learn next time. V'chayiv adam limsor atzmo l'sakana v'al yasi es nafsho al ashama kazeh. A person is obligated to hand himself over to any danger and not to carry the weight of this tremendous sin. Ba'al pi Torah tzarek b'shas ma'isa al kol panim l'skazek ma'od shelo l'sayo afilu b'tenua achas sheyirak mimena shehu maskin l'sipuro. A person at least needs to strengthen himself up and to not make any slight movement that would look like that he agrees with the person and his story. And it's fitting on this idea, the statement of our Chachamim, that should be remembered for a bracha, that they said in the mission in Edius, Mutav sheyikra adam shoiteb kol yamav. It's better that a person should be called a fool his entire life than a rush in the eyes of Hashem, even for a moment. The zeh who efilu im who mevin midbar b'tochacha lo yiyu nishmain l'mesaper. And this is even if you know for sure that any rebuke would go completely unheard by this person, right? So if let's say that a person knows that it will be completely unheard, that doesn't give for sure. You shouldn't seem to agree with it. He says to Ilav Hachi that if it would be that maybe the person would listen to your tochacha, then you'd be obligated to offer him gentle words of reproof. Kasher Yisbar Im Yirtzeh Hashem Lakaman B'Hilchas Lashon Hara Klal Vav. I like that. We're going to say later in Hilchas Lashon Hara. Let's do the next one, and that's the end of the lav Yud Zayin, and then he gives like a little at the end, a little brings the whole thing together. There's one more lav that's commonplace in our many sins. That a person speaks Lashon Hara against a person from anger. And even at that time, out of his anger, he curses him. And sometimes he even uses Hashem's name, but in foreign language. For example, maybe he says, God blank him, right? So if a person does that, they're using Hashem's name. It's a name for Hashem. It's another language, still a name for Hashem, to curse the person. That he's over the law that it says, do not rebuke a deaf person. And when it says don't curse a deaf person, it doesn't mean only a deaf person. The explanation of the verse is even a deaf person, even a person who wouldn't hear it, you can't curse, right? So Gamkein, all the more so someone who's not a cherish, who's not deaf. Okay, now he brings it all together. Hooray. We've now considered 17 possible negative commandments that a person can have transgressed by speaking Lashon Hara and Rechilas. Even if he's only speaking to a Jewish person. To imhu malshin al Yisrael bifnei kusi, that if that he would be malshin, he would say over negative words, perhaps denigrating a Jew to the point that it might come to harm to the Jew. Isur yoser gadol v'yoser chomer. Now his prohibition, the prohibition he's gone over is much greater and much more stringent. The niknas l'famim b'chlal masur kasher nivar im yirtzeh Hashem lekaman behilchas lashon hara b'chlal shmini. He could even become what's called a masur. That's somebody that like hands over a Jewish person to Gentile authorities, etc. And so that's going to be explained later as well. Several of the lavim that we explained earlier that you can be over carry with it a punishment of death at the hands of heaven. For example, making fun of or saying negative things about a widow or an orphan, or on the desecration of God's name. And many of them explicitly touch, have an impact on a person's world to come. To go and malbim pnei chavero berabim, for example, it says a person who humiliates someone publicly does not have a share in the world to come. Umiskabed b'kolon chavero, or somebody who takes, honors himself, takes honor in the lowering of his friend, of a fellow Jew. Lemisha margilas atzmo ba'avan achamor azeh shel Lashon Hara rechilas, a person that becomes accustomed to regularly be involved in this very stringent sin of speaking Lashon Hara rechilas, kasher nevar im yirsa Hashem akol the common, as we're going to explain to come in the laws of Lashon Hara. So next time we'll be able to start the positive commandments.
Shakayach, thank you so much, Rabbi.
Okay, everyone have a wonderful eve. What time's tomorrow?